Welcome to Learning Python with Turtle, Lesson 1. In this video, we're going to cover what is Python and the approach that we're going to take to teaching you Python with something called the turtle. In order to use the turtle, we're going to explore how to import a library, how to create the turtle, and then some basic commands we can give the turtle. So let's get to it. So Python is a very popular language used in many different applications from machine learning, artificial intelligence, facial recognition, physical computing, robotics, web development, video games. Again, the list goes on. One thing that makes Python so popular is its community of developers that are constantly sharing applications and functionalities that they developed that they hope that other people can benefit from as well. All right, so in order for us to embark in our journey of programming using Python, we need an environment in order to program. Now we could program locally, and what that means is, let's say you had to write an essay. You might use Microsoft Word locally on your computer, or you might use Google Docs online. Well, programming does the same thing. So we could go through, if you went over here, we could download Python locally on our computer, and that will give us something like this, which then we can, create a window to actually write our first program, just like you would write an essay. Again, programming is about writing instructions, writing things for the computer to understand. Now, I prefer, because again, there's a lot of benefit to it, to program online. So if you Google repl.it, Replit, it should bring you to their website. And the difference between Replit and the Python IDE that I just showed you is that Replit does the same things roughly online as you would locally. Again, there are some benefits and disadvantages to both. So let's go ahead and sign in using our Google account. Now, in an earlier video, I went into more in-depth, introduction to programming on, how to explore Replit and some of the things you can do with it. So for this video, I'm going to go a little quicker. So I'm simply going to go to my Replits. I'm going to go to my Programming Technologies folder. And now I'm ready to create my first program in Replit. So I'm going to go to Create. I'm going to choose Python with Turtle, not Python, Python with Turtle. And you got to give it a name. So I'm going to call it PT for Python Turtle Lesson 1. All right, so usually when you create a Replit, it will give you some sample code. So at this point, I'm just going to delete it so we can cover it from scratch. Again, here's your Python program, main.py. All Python programs end in .py, regardless of whether it's online or locally on the computer. This is the section, the middle section is where we're going to write our code. And this right side, this is where we can see our error messages, perhaps some messages that we display, as well as the result of giving our turtle some instructions. So before we can actually start working with our turtle, we have to tell our program, hey, why don't you bring the turtle in? And we use that we do that with the command called import. Again, in future lessons, you'll explore more about import. For right now, just realize that all your programs will require us to import the turtle so we can actually play with it. The next thing that I want to have you explore is the idea of creating a variable. Now, from like a math class, you might be familiar with like x equals 2, height equals 10. Those are variables. So the same thing happens in programming. So I'm going to have Bob equal turtle dot turtle. Now that command is a little bit loaded. I don't want to go into the mechanics as to why it's turtle with a lowercase t right here. Dot turtle with an uppercase t and then parentheses. At this point, I want you to just take it as a fact that this is what you need to write in order to create a turtle. In a future lesson, you'll learn more about objects and classes, and then you'll be able to appreciate why we write that statement. All right, so now with line 3, we've actually created a turtle and we've called it Bob. So what can we do with Bob? Well, we could tell Bob to go forward. Now, if you kind of think about it, for a human being, if you tell him to go forward, you might want to give him some distance. So same thing with programming and with Bob the turtle. We just can't say forward. We have to give it a distance. So let's do that. And there you go. Bob's gone forward. If we reduce the numbers to 20, just kind of show you a little bit of the scale. So 20 is, even though you might think 20 to be a big number, on the screen, it's actually not that big. So again, with practice, you'll kind of get the sense of the scale of the screen and what numbers you can use. All right, so that's your first command, bob.forward 100. What other commands can we use? So we could also tell Bob to go left 120 degrees. Now for that, I want you to look real carefully at the triangle here. That's Bob right there. Notice that Bob has now turned, so it's aiming. So a command of left doesn't mean for it to move left. It simply turns. And now when we give it the next command of bob.forward of, let's say, 100, it will move 100 in the direction that it's facing. Just so you realize that forward is not an up, it's not a down, it's not a left, it's not a right. It's move forward in whatever direction you're facing. And we could change our direction by using left, and hopefully kind of intuitively can think of there's actually a right as well. All right, so let's go ahead and do bob.left again of 120, and hopefully you kind of envision what we're actually drawing here. And there we go. So we had Bob the turtle draw a triangle by giving it various commands of going forward, left, forward, left, forward, left. And again, the list goes on. Now, if you're curious as to what some other commands you can use with the turtle, let's actually Google Python turtle. And you'll see some documentation. Now, we take a slightly different approach to programming the turtle, so just be careful when you see some examples. You're more than welcome to explore it, but realize we take a different approach on how to work with the turtle. Reason being that we actually create a variable to use with the turtle. But the reason I invited you to go to this website is for this reason. These are the various commands that you can use with the turtle. So there is a way to change the color of the line. Here's backwards, left, right, set X. Trying to figure out. Oh, here we go. Change the thickness of the line. Change whether the the turtle has the pen down or pen up. Pen up will allow you to kind of move the turtle without actually drawing a line. Sometimes you might want to do that. Right? So I definitely invite you to kind of look through this website and all the different things that you can do with it. In future lessons, we're definitely going to tackle some of these in addition to programming concepts that we want you to kind of get explored to. So let's go back to our presentation. Let's review what we've done. So in this video, we discussed, that Python is a popular language and it can be used for many different applications. We're going to introduce programming to you through this video series using a turtle library, which will allow us to draw. So we're going to learn how to program by creating artwork. We saw how we can import a turtle, create a turtle, give it a name, Bob, and then some basic commands we could give the turtle. So hopefully you're excited about embarking in your journey of programming, and enjoy.